energetic and engaging voice. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into one of the most captivating and inspiring stories from the Old Testament, the incredible life of Daniel, a young man of unwavering faith who navigated the treacherous waters of powerful empires. Get ready for tales of courage, prophecy, and a God who always has a plan. Let's journey back to ancient Babylon. Our story begins in the kingdom of Judah, a land facing the might of the Babylonian Empire. Around 605 BC, King Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon laid siege to Jerusalem, and among those taken captive were young men of noble birth and good understanding. One of these young men was Daniel. Imagine the heartbreak, the displacement, the uncertainty of being torn from your homeland and thrust into a foreign culture. But even in captivity, Daniel and his companions Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah refused to compromise their faith. They were selected for special training in the language and literature of Babylon, destined to serve in the king's court. Now, here's where Daniel's character shines through. They were offered the king's rich food and wine, delicacies that likely violated their Jewish dietary laws. Daniel, with wisdom and respect, requested that he and his friends be allowed to eat only vegetables and water for 10 days, proposing a test to see if they would be any less healthy than those who ate the royal provisions. And guess what? At the end of the 10 days, they appeared healthier and better nourished than all the other young men. This early act of courage and commitment to their beliefs set the stage for Daniel's remarkable journey. As Daniel and his friends excelled in their studies, God blessed them with exceptional wisdom and understanding in all kinds of literature and learning. Daniel, in particular, was given the ability to understand visions and dreams, a gift that would soon thrust him into the heart of Babylonian power. King Nebuchadnezzar had a dream, a profound and disturbing dream that he couldn't remember. He summoned his magicians, enchanters, and astrologers, demanding that they not only interpret the dream, but also tell him what the dream was, a seemingly impossible task. These wise men were baffled, admitting that no one on earth could fulfill such a demand. Furious, King Nebuchadnezzar ordered that all the wise men of Babylon be put to death. When Daniel heard this decree, he approached the king with humility and asked for time to interpret the dream. Daniel then turned to his faithful companions, and together they prayed to the God of heaven for mercy and revelation. And God answered their prayer. In a vision, the mystery of the king's dream was revealed to Daniel. Daniel was brought before the king, and with boldness and reverence, he declared that there is a God in heaven who reveals mysteries. He then proceeded to describe the king's dream, a colossal statue made of different materials. The head of gold, chest and arms of silver, belly and thighs of bronze, legs of iron, and feet partly of iron and partly of baked clay. Daniel explained that the head of gold represented King Nebuchadnezzar and his kingdom, the most powerful of its time. The silver represented a succeeding kingdom, inferior to Babylon. The bronze, another kingdom that would rule over the whole earth. The legs of iron, a strong and crushing kingdom, and the feet, a divided kingdom, partly strong and partly brittle. Then, Daniel described a stone that was cut out, but not by human hands, which struck the statue at its feet and crushed it completely. The wind then carried away the pieces, leaving no trace, but the stone that struck the statue became a great mountain and filled the whole earth. Daniel revealed that this stone represented God's everlasting kingdom, which would ultimately destroy all earthly empires and stand forever. Upon hearing this, King Nebuchadnezzar was astonished. He fell prostrate before Daniel and acknowledged the power and greatness of Daniel's God. He then promoted Daniel to a high position in his kingdom and made him ruler over the entire province of Babylon, also placing his 3 friends in positions of authority. Years passed, and King Nebuchadnezzar, perhaps forgetting the lesson of his dream, erected a massive golden image and commanded everyone in his kingdom to bow down and worship it. When the Phaisai music played, But Daniel's 3 friends, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, their Babylonian names, refused to bow down. Their loyalty belonged to God alone. They were reported to the king, who in a fit of rage gave them one more chance. But their response was unwavering. Our God whom we serve is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace, and he will deliver us out of your hand, O king. But if not, be it known to you, O king, that we will not serve your gods or worship the golden image that you have set up. Furious, Nebuchadnezzar ordered the furnace to be heated 7 times hotter than usual and commanded his strongest soldiers to tie up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego and throw them into the blazing inferno. But then, a miracle. King Nebuchadnezzar looked into the furnace and saw not 3 men, but 4, walking around unharmed in the midst of the fire. And the 4th figure looked like a son of the gods. Amazed, the king called the 3 men out of the furnace. They emerged without a single hair on their heads singed, their clothes were not burned, and there was not even the smell of fire on them. Nebuchadnezzar then decreed that anyone who spoke against the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego would be severely punished. He recognized again the power and sovereignty of the true God. Later, under the reign of King Darius of Persia, Daniel continued to excel and was highly favored by the king. So much so that Darius planned to set him over the whole kingdom. This, however, stirred jealousy among the other high officials. Unable to find any fault in Daniel's conduct, they devised a cunning plan. They persuaded King Darius to issue a decree that for 30 days, anyone who prayed to any god or man except the king would be thrown into the lion's den. Daniel, knowing this decree had been signed, did not waver in his devotion to God. He continued to go to his house, open his windows facing Jerusalem, and pray 3 times a day, giving thanks to his God, just as he had always done. His enemies quickly reported him to the king, who was deeply distressed because he had great affection for Daniel. But the decree could not be revoked. So with a heavy heart, King Darius ordered Daniel to be thrown into the lion's den, saying to him, "May your God, whom you serve continually, deliver you." The king spent a sleepless night, fasting and filled with anxiety for Daniel. At the first light of dawn, he rushed to the lion's den and cried out in a distressed voice, "Daniel, servant of the living God, has your God, whom you serve continually, been able to deliver you from the lions?" And then, to the king's immense relief, Daniel's voice was heard, "O king, live forever. My God sent his angel and shut the lions' mouths, and they have not harmed me, because I was found blameless before him. And also before you, O king, I have done no wrong." Overjoyed, King Darius ordered Daniel to be lifted out of the den, and when he was brought up, no injury of any kind was found on him, because he had trusted in his God. The king then commanded that Daniel's accusers be thrown into the lion's den, and they were instantly devoured. King Darius then issued a decree that people everywhere should fear and reverence the God of Daniel, for he is the living God, who endures forever. Overjoyed, King Darius ordered Daniel to be lifted out of the den, and when he was brought up, no injury of any kind was found on him, because he had trusted in his God. The king then commanded that Daniel's accusers be thrown into the lion's den, and they were instantly devoured. King Darius then issued a decree that people everywhere should fear and reverence the God of Daniel, for he is the living God, who endures forever. What are your thoughts on Daniel's story? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next deep dive into the incredible stories of the Bible. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.